got my this guy's so amazing. David McCovey on the line, founder of Evolution Travel. He's been, just explaining and dropping a lot of knowledge on us about the travel industry and Evolution Travel as a whole. Again, if you want to talk to me or David, the number to call in is 770-415-2149. Again, 770-415-2149. Do we have a caller? I'll take that as a yes. We do have a caller. Caller, you on the line?
Yes, Sean, this is Shanice Harling.
Shanice, what's going on, sis? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I'm super excited and pumped up. I want to be able to ask founder David McCovey a couple of questions and ask you a couple of questions.
Well, go ahead and shoot.
Awesome. So, Mr. David McCovey, what was the plan and your vision for starting Evolution Travel? Like, why did you start Evolution Travel?
That's a great question, Shanice. For me, it was simple. It was to build something where the average person legitimately, and I say that in bold letters, all caps, and exclamation points and underline, legitimately had a chance to win. A lot of companies that we see in the space, the average person, they can't win. They're bogged down with a ton of auto ships on products or things like that they have to have. But we did not do that. We wanted to keep it very, very simple and give the person a legitimate shot to win. And so for me, I think that was really, really important. And that was probably the first idea or the first thing that came to mind when I said, let's do our own thing. We want people to win. And when people win, that empowers them, and then they in turn empower more people, and it becomes a domino effect. It changes the game for a lot of people. So I think that was the biggest thing that we wanted to do.
Awesome. Sean, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What made you want to get on the air? Like, what's your drive for getting on the air?
Well, that again, Shanique, great question. The reason I wanted to get on the air is because in my field as a financial lifestyle planner, I noticed that as business owners, nobody really focuses on that market to educate. And I really feel that it's been, given to me to go out and educate the masses on how to do business, but not just to do business, but to do business well. There's a lot of things that business owners are missing, and they're successful in one regard, but they're missing things on other regards like structure and how to make things really, really work. So it's just my passion of being an educator and helping people win. So I just decided that I had an opportunity to get on the airwaves and educate the masses. So I'm just a financial lifestyle teacher, and I'm a business owner, so I just merged the two.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you for calling in all the way from Arizona. I guess the weather's great out there too, ain't it?
Yes, it's about 80 degrees today.
We don't want to talk to you, man. You talking about it's 80 degrees. Like, it's like 40 degrees with a wind chill factor here in Atlanta. Like, I guess the dirty birds lost and the cold weather came behind it. I know I'm losing some people behind that, but I definitely appreciate it. Shanice, can you hang out with us on the line for a little bit?
Yes, I surely can.
Awesome. Well, David, I wanted to really, and again, thank you, Shanice, for checking in with us, but I wanted to talk to me a little bit, David, about, like, you talked about why you started Evolution Travel, but talk about the mindset, because before Evolution Travel, you've been a business owner. Is that correct? You've never really had a 9-to-5?
Correct. I just always was entrepreneur minded, man, and I think that something that I saw from my mom a long time ago. People can influence you and change the way that you do things or that you even think about things without even knowing that they did that. And I've told the story several times, but I'll never forget. My mom worked for the Clark County School District here in Las Vegas, and I'll never forget, she had just gotten a promotion, and I heard her and my aunt talking about it. And typical on promotions or certain days, you get to go out and eat. And we were at one of my favorite restaurants at the time. It was Godfather's Pizza. I remember standing in line at Godfather's Pizza, and I've always been fond of numbers, so I know what Mom made. And so I'm looking up at the menu board at what we ordered, and when they give us our total, I'm thinking to myself, I said, man, Mom had to work half the day just to be able to pay for this meal. And so for me, the numbers, it never added up. The math never made sense. And guys, please, everyone on the line that works a job, please don't take this as any disrespect because it's not meant that way. Just for me, I just never knew, well, I knew that they would never just pay us what we're worth, so we have to define that by ourselves and get into, the open markets and entrepreneurship to be able to do that. And so I think for me, that was a deciding factor early on when I saw that, my mom, I just knew that I needed to be able to do something where we could kind of dictate our own terms financially. And so I think that's why, in my heart, I've always been an entrepreneur because I encountered that at a young age and saw some other things, but I just knew that entrepreneurship was the way to go, for me anyway.
Well, that is definitely awesome. And you said something that was really monumental. I don't know if people picked it up. Like, think about that. Like, when you go shopping and you make an hourly wage, you can actually break down how long you had to work to obtain groceries and food. And that's, again, no disrespect to anybody that has a 9-to-5, but as a business owner, I've just always liked to be in control. And even if we don't talk about the money aspect of it, think about the time that we gain. And when people get into business, and one thing I tell them, they think because now they're in business, they can just work 2 or 3 hours and they'll get millions of dollars worth of pay. As a business owner, you're probably going to put in more time than you ever would on somebody else's job. But the benefit of it is it's all for you and your legacy, you and your name. That was the driving factor for me to go and do my thing independent because I work for a very large company. Well, I'm not gonna say the name because I'm not gonna give no free promotion, but I made so much more. I made so much money for them, but the hours I was putting in, I'm putting in 80 hours for $45,000 to $50,000 a year. Like, it just wasn't worth my time. So I think that, and the most precious gift that God gives us is time. So I think that's great. Awesome. So,
and to piggyback on, if you don't mind, man, to piggyback on what you just said, you're right, because as an entrepreneur, oftentimes you'll work more and work longer than you would if you were working for someone else. But you're building your thing. You're building something for you and your family, your legacy. And I'll never forget one of my favorite entrepreneurs, Mr. Mark Cuban. He said on the episode of Shark Tank, like as he was walking off, he got into an argument with another one of the sharks, I believe it was Kevin O'Leary, and he said, I'd rather work 80 hours a week for myself and make 50 to 75 grand than work 40 hours a week and make 100 grand working for somebody else. And was dead serious. And that's what you have, like that's the spirit that you have as an entrepreneur. You'll do more for yourself, even if it's at a less paid early on, because you know that then there's no cap or there's no ceiling on what you could possibly do one day. Every time that you go and you clock in, there's a cap on what you're going to make, period. You're going to get that hourly wage or that salary, and, if they afford you some overtime, and that's good, then you get that too, but there's still a cap on what you can make. In the entrepreneur world, it's a free market, so there's no cap on your ability to earn or what you can help other people earn, which is really, what's powerful, that you can help other people do something special. So I think all of us, here that are entrepreneurs, I think that those are some of the things that burn inside of us, that we want to build our own legacy and we want to help other people win. And so, again, it's no knock at all to, to those who have a 9-to-5, because we often say that you have to do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do. So that's just part of the path. But just know that we all want something, a little bit more than a job or something on the other side of that job to help with things that we want in life.
And you are 100% right, and I appreciate you jumping in because it's just, I say this all the time to people, eagles fly with eagles. And there's nothing wrong with, if you got a 9-to-5 or whatever the case may be, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that sometimes our system gears towards the wrong things. I mean, we teach people, go to school, go to college, get a job. And you and you do that plan and you wind up getting a job paying back for school for years. I know people that have student loan debts into mid-40s, almost 50 years old. And if that's the path that you've taken, then that's the path that you've taken. We're not, again, none of us on this line are knocking people that have 9-to-5s, but if you want bigger, if you want to be an eagle and you want to soar and you want to have no limits on your life, entrepreneurship is the way to go. So I'm excited about this, man. David, you got me pumped up tonight, brother. You got me pumped up.
I love talking with you, brother. We've had some good powwows face to face, and it's just another. We're just a part of just sharing it with the family. So it's always a pleasure, man.
Pleasure's all mine. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one more break. Again, you're listening to Getting Down to Business on 108 Praise Radio with Sean Bailey, your financial lifestyle planner, and we'll be back in just a second.